It's our reality, just your average family trying to be normal and stay out of trouble, living a double life.
What's up? Today we got Thunderman's Season 1, Episode 8, You Stole My Thunder, Man. This episode starts off with Hank asking if Billy wants to play catch with him. Billy says no because the last time he played catch with Hank kept throwing the ball over the wall. The Great Wall of China. So Billy leaves. Max says he'll play catch with Hank, and it just consists of Max using his telekinesis, not let Hank catch the ball. Then Hank says, "That's why they had Billy." What do you mean, Hank? Are you saying you had Billy because he's the only one that doesn't mess with you? I don't know what he meant by that. Like, okay, anyway, Then Phoebe shows up. Barb announces that Phoebe is the freshman class president. Phoebe hasn't won yet, but when she wins, everyone will see her t-shirt saying, "Don't be dweebs and vote for Phoebes." Max says, Can that be the best she can really do? And Phoebe says, he tried rhyming with the word Phoebe. And then Billy says, "Vote for Phoebe. This shirt's a freebie." And then Phoebe's like, I should have wrote that. It's so good to do these reviews. Yeah, Phoebe says that she got shirts for Evelyn, and she even got Nora a bow. Nora says she can't buy her. Her head isn't a bus bench, but it's one sweet bow, so she wears it. We never see her actually wear it throughout the entire episode. She goes between yeah. Phoebe says that she's been dreaming about this since forever. She says she wants to be the voice of her generation and go down as the greatest freshman class president of Hiddenville, in the history of Hiddenville High. Max says he wants her to be the voice of Stop Talking. Yes, I love Max. Do I have to keep saying that? Is that what I keep on doing? If you guys don't get how much Max Thunderman is the best character in Season 1, next to Mrs. Wong, then you guys haven't been watching the reviews. And if you have, then you know that Max Thunderman is the best character. Yeah. But yeah. Phoebe says that she doesn't care what Max thinks as long as he helps today, and she says that him and Cherry are gonna ask her some questions after her speech to make her look good. Max says, "What are the fundamental challenges of facing students today?" Max says, "Staying awake to answer these questions." Again, I love Max. Yeah. Phoebe guilts Max by saying once she's freshman class president, she won't probably be around all the time. So Max decides to help Phoebe win after the opening, which I didn't put last time. So this episode I knew what to put. At Hiddenville High, we see Phoebe telling everyone to vote for her because she's the right candidate. Then Principal Bradford said, which is the first time and not the only time I'll be referencing this character. He stays on to the rest of the series. Principal Bradford says that it's time for students to ask Phoebe questions. Max says, "What can you juggle? How much can you juggle?" And then Max says, "Nobody wants to see her juggle." Again, I love Max. Then Max says, after it's done, Max says, after listening to all the candidates, he didn't hear anyone talking about what really matters, like why the lunch lady wears a hairnet when she should really cover her beard. Okay. Phoebe says, can they get back to the issue of who likes juggling? Max says, who likes juggling when the bathroom has sandpaper instead of toilet paper? That's the news that needs to be at. And it's really fun. It's really fun talking in a loud voice and shaking your fist. Meanwhile, at the Thunderman house, Hank and Billy are coming back from fishing. Barb asks them how was it, and Billy says that it wasn't fun until Hank got hook stuck on his butt. Billy got a bunch of questions. Billy got a bunch of rocks, because rocks are dumber than fish. Oh, Billy, just proving that. This show just loves proving that Billy is not the smartest character in the Thunderman, not the smartest bulb in the Thunderman family. We know this show. You don't have to tell us every episode that Billy's not smart. We know this by now. This is episode 8, and the show keeps on telling you, oh, audience, Billy's not smart. He's pretty dumb. We already know this. Billy says, Nora says to Billy, let's see if the match rocks the one in his head. Again, even Nora knows that Billy's not smart. Then Barb says, Hank likes rocks and Billy likes rocks, so that's a way to connect with each other. Billy and Hank bond over Billy liking shiny rocks. Don't worry, the spotlight does not end here. Then Phoebe shows up and Barb says, do they have a freshman class president in the family? Phoebe says they do. They do, and then Max shows up and says, him, and then does this. Because again, I love Max, and literally I took the background from this scene. It's Max. Max became the class president. Barb questions Max on how he even became the freshman class president when he wasn't even running. Max says because he just spoke his mind, and then he just spoke his mind, what was really on his mind, and that's how people got voting him their overlord. Barb says it's class president, and Max says, say whatever you want. Again, I love Max. Yeah, it's just Max's stepping stone. It's just Max's stepping stone before world domination. Hank says he wants to be proud. Barb asks Phoebe if she's okay. And Phoebe says Max stole her dream, since she had since kindergarten. Then she uses telekinesis and uses her heat press to burn Nora's congratulating Max that was for Phoebe, but then she crossed out Phoebe's name and put Max Banner. Max says Phoebe got second vote, so she'll be his vice president. Barb says that's good, and Phoebe says the vice president is an important job. An important job. Yeah, it's an important job. Then Nora just says Phoebe keeps saying it till Phoebe believes it. Then at Hiddenville High, we see Max playing foosball. When Phoebe asks why is there a foosball table in the school student council office, Max says because a pool table wouldn't fit. Then Max says Phoebe as his vice president should do something about the pool table not fitting. Phoebe says, or she could give him her ideas that could actually help the school. Phoebe says, yeah, that could help the school. Max says that sounds like it would work, and she'll have to schedule an appointment with his secretary. Then Phoebe says, who'd be dumb enough to be his secretary? And of course, it's Cherry, because of course, Cherry works for Max. Cherry saying she can fit Phoebe in walk Phoebe in 3 weeks from today. Phoebe asks Cherry why she's working for Mac, and Cherry says she needs this for her resume, and says Phoebe thinks that Cherry can just waltz into online college. And Cherry walks away, leaving Phoebe confused because, again, it's Cherry. She's, again, just like Billy. She's not the smartest. She's not the smartest person. She's not the smartest person. Yeah. And then Max says that the best thing about being president is having his own flunky. Named Flunky. Or just Jace Norman, because that's who plays him. And, yeah, I don't know why his name is Flunky. But, yeah. Flunky hits on Phoebe, because I guess we gotta have two of Jason Norman's characters on two different shows hit on Phoebe. First Flunky, and then Henry Hart, years later. Bro, this dude has nothing better to do than to play characters that hit on a teenage girl. This kid's like probably 13. Yeah, Phoebe says she knew Max would treat the presidency as a joke, so she came up with some ideas to better the school. She calls it her three-pronged approach. Phoebe has some ideas like rolling backpacks, healthy snacks in the vending machines, hugs from the mascot. Max says, exactly, that's what they need to get her out of there. Again, I love Max, but that's what they need. That's what they need to get her out of there. Then Phoebe says, fine, that's Max's law. But Principal Bradford wants to hear Max's plan, and Max got nothing. Max says, Phoebe's overreacting. Max does not come with a plan until, and then Phoebe says, 3 o'clock Friday. Then Principal Bradford says, well, it's 4:30 on Tuesday, but it's actually 10:30 on a Sunday. Hear your plan, Max. So, yeah. And so Principal Bradford asks for Max's plan, and Max fires Cherry. Meanwhile, at Thunderman's house, Hank brings in a huge moon rock with an American flag to show Billy. Hank says they need to hide the rock, so that's when Barb shows up. Comes in freaking out, saying she's glad they're having fun, but they need to take all the rocks out of her living room. Hank says he believes it's their living room. Then Barb says, is it, Hank? Is it? Again, I just don't like that line. Then Hank says, no, it's Barb's. All Barb's. I like how Hank tries to assert his dominance, but Barb proves she's a far stronger woman than Hank. She's a far stronger person than Hank, and Hank literally caves in and says it's Barb's. Again, then in Hiddenville High, we see Max and Flunky. Phoebe asks Max why he's been avoiding her. Flunky says he wouldn't avoid her. Licorice and they can meet in the middle. And Phoebe rightfully pushes him out of the way. Because again, why is another Jason Norman character hitting on Phoebe? Did he not learn his lesson in Henry Danger when literally Henry Hart literally does the exact same thing? And as Phoebe pushes Flunky out of the way and asks Max, as his VP, she must know how his meeting with Principal went. Max says he handled it, and the Raptor mascot now rides on a skateboard, high-fiving people, and people don't have to wear heavy backpacks. Max convinced Bradford to make textbooks available for download. Then Cherry shows up thanking Max because now she no longer wears her heavy backpack. She's like 3 inches taller. And now she can join the basketball team. She does a basketball throw and accidentally throws her iPad over the thing, breaking it, and asking yourself, how'd she do that? Because again, Cherry is not smart. We know this by now. Yep. Max says he's replacing the vending machines with a smoothie machine. Phoebe says all of Max's ideas he came up with, he stole from a three-pronged approach. Principal Bradford says and says people are going to remember Max as the greatest class president in the history of Hiddenville High for his three-pronged approach. Max says that's always been his dream, and Phoebe says that was her dream. And Max says, "Oh yeah, why'd you give that up again?" Again, I love Max. Meanwhile, at Thunderman House, Flunky is using himself as Max's bench press. When Phoebe comes, I'm not even gonna question it. When Phoebe comes home and asking Max how could he steal her three-pronged approach, she should have been the one unveiling that smoothie machine. And Max says she's the vice president, and that's Latin for not the president. And Nora's just in the back reading a book, and she doesn't have her bow on. She has her flower headband. Again, I don't know why the writers give her a bow if they're just gonna change it in the next shot. Change it 3 scenes later. So yeah, then Phoebe says, "No, it's not. That's not Latin for vice president doesn't mean not the president." She knows that because she's the vice president of the Latin club. We did not. Why? I would question why Phoebe's not why she's the vice president, but I'm just a guy who reviews shows. I don't question him. Oh wait, I do sometimes, but not here because it's just easy just to not question the show. Also, the Thunderman's Returns comes out this week, but I will not be reviewing it because I'm still on season 1. I'll probably review it when we get to the end of season 4. So yeah, just telling you that the new show comes out this week. If you see it, don't spoil it because I want to watch it myself when I finally get to it, when we finally review it. But anyway, just telling you that there's a new movie. The movie finally comes out this week. This Wednesday. Yeah, I think it comes out I think it comes out either this Wednesday or this Thursday. I think it's this Wednesday. Well, I think it's this Thursday. I'll have to check. Anyway, back to the show. Yeah. So, yeah. Max says that Principal Bradford put Max on the spot and he had nothing, so he gave Bradford Phoebe's idea. Since Phoebe works for Max, Phoebe's ideas are Max's ideas. Phoebe says, "Here's an idea. Max stinks." Phoebe says, Flunky says, "Max stinks of power." And then Max smells himself and says, "Power needs to take a shower." So Max goes to do that. Then Nora shows up because she was just reading a book with no one noticing, and says that is Phoebe really gonna let Max do this to her? Phoebe says Nora heard Max. Did she? She was reading a book. Okay. Yeah. Nora heard Max. The vice president has no power. She can't do anything. Then Nora says, except become president if Max got into an unfortunate accident. Phoebe says she's not in the mood for Nora's devious plan. But then she says, what does Nora have in mind? Then Nora tells tells Phoebe to read an article about a Russian plant that gives tummy troubles in Max's latest issue of Evil Teen, which Nora was for some reason reading in the background. And I just love the cover of it. It's a kid saying loser. Like, that's the best cover for an Evil Teen. A kid just saying loser. Like, that's the best thing the Evil Teen magazine he would come up with. Taking a picture of a kid saying loser. Not with their hands or someone evil laughing. Just someone saying loser. I miss Mrs. Wong already. I know she She doesn't come back till episode 10. But saying loser reminds me of her. I miss you, Mrs. Wong. Can't wait for you to come back in episode 10. But anyway, so yeah. So Nora says feed the Russian plane to Max, and Phoebe will be number 1, while Max will be going number 2. Phoebe says she's better than that until Flunky says Max wants Phoebe to hand wash his running clothes. So Phoebe decides to make Max eat a Russian plant. Meanwhile, Phoebe's getting Max to eat her Russian plant. Then Phoebe starts laughing about sweet revenge. But then she realizes that, oh no, she's turning into Max. Then Phoebe says she can't do it, but then Flunky shows up saying that he has to eat the pizza because he's testing it for Max, causing him to use the bathroom. But Flunky accidentally pushes Max into his lair, causing him to be injured from the rocks Hank and Billy put in there. Hank asks Max if he's not gonna tell Barb that they kept the rocks down in his lair. Max says he's not a rat, but Dr. Costa says he is, yelling Barb's name to rat on Hank and Billy. Dr. Costa says that's what they get for filling his cage with rocks and turning him into a rabbit. Again. Then Max is in a full body cast. Wow. Barb says what were they thinking putting rocks in Max's lair? Hank says it was Billy's idea, but Nora, who has a bow again, this is so inconsistent, says that Billy hasn't had an idea in 10 years, and he's 10. Then Billy says, people are telling ideas? Why didn't they tell him? Billy, how many times is this show going to tell us that you are not smart? Because they keep trying to say, it's like they're wiring it into our brains that Billy isn't the smartest kid. Because, like, we don't know that already. Again. And why did Nora go from wearing a bow in the first scene to wearing a flower headband in the second scene to now wearing a bow again in this scene? This is so inconsistent. So Phoebe says that so Barb tells them to clear all the rocks out of Max's lair. Phoebe says she got Max a car, and so she started to stop to him. Max says it's not her fault, and Max asks Phoebe to take over his presidency duties. Phoebe leaves to go, and Max accidentally lets the remote hit his face. Nora says that a remote hitting Max's face would be funny if Max didn't look like a snowman on an invisible motorcycle. Max says that he blames Flunky and himself for being friends with a guy named Flunky. Nora let slips about the Russian plan to get the question. So yeah, to get out of the question, Nora hits Max's foot with a book. Max knows Nora knows something and tells her to spill it. Nora says she'll never do that, and Max threatens knowing where she keeps her bow. And Nora says, not her babies, and says fine. Meanwhile, at Hiddenville High, Max, still in his full body cast, shows up with Flunky, talking about how Max wants revenge on Phoebe, going to get revenge on Phoebe for trying to get Max on her with a Russian plant. Max's revenge plan is when Phoebe goes to get the first cup of the smoothie, anything will be but smooth. That's when Principal Bradford says that I know everyone's so sad about our losing our great president Max Thunderman, but I know what he'll want. Us to say goodbye to the art teacher and say hello to the smoothie machine. Huh. But anyway. So yeah. So yeah, he has Phoebe to pour this first drink, unveiling the smoothie scenes with Max's face on it. And she says, Max? And then Max is like, that's right, Phoebe. Pour him a frosty glass of payback. Principal Bradford tells him to do it for Max. And Principal Bradford because he's got a movie to catch. But mainly for Max. Again, okay, this is the first time we're introducing Principal Bradford. So for the first time, Principal Bradford is hilarious. I can't wait to see more of him. Max says she can't do it because the machine was Max's idea and Max should be there. Funky tells Max Phoebe's feeling bad for what she did. And he thinks it's sweet and asks Max if Phoebe has a boyfriend. Kid, you're probably like 13, bro. Stop trying to hit on us a 15-year-old. Wait, no, a 14-year-old. She turns 15 in this season. So stop trying to hit on a 14-year-old, bro. It's never going to work. Yeah, Phoebe and Max literally turned 15 this season, so... And it's at 16. So, she's like 14. So, I don't know why... However funky is. Yeah. Max says that he can't do that because if she... Max says she can't do that because if she feels bad, he feels bad. Phoebe says, Max, this is for him. Max says now he feels bad. He tells Funky to push him over, and Funky causes him to crash. Max tells Phoebe Nora told him what she did, and Phoebe says that she never meant to hurt him. Never meant for him to get hurt. Max says, yeah, he probably deserved it, and he stole her idea. But Phoebe says that he made them better. And that he's a great class president, and he should be making the first movie. Principal Bradford then mocks them, and then says, oh, guys, we just want to... He's like, we're just here for smoothies. Again, I like Principal Bradford. He's a jerk, but he's a funny jerk. But anyway. So Principal Bradford decides to press the smoothies button, and then smoothie but then since Max rigged it, it causes a bunch of smoothies to hit Bradford. Anyway, it causes a bunch of smoothies to hit Principal Bradford. But anyway, so Phoebe says, that was meant for her, isn't it? That was meant for her, wasn't it? And Max says, don't ruin the moment. Meanwhile, don't ruin the moment of Bradford being smoothied. Meanwhile, at the Thunderman house, because I thought this could have been a good ending, but nope, we have to continue this on. Barb apologizes to Hank and Billy for making them get rid of the rock collection that maimed Max. For some reason, I thought of an H2O reference when I first heard that. When Ricky says that Lewis told anyone their secret, they would maim him. It reminded me of that. I love that show so much. But anyway, aside from that, Barb says that they can't collect the lint. That they can collect lint. Hank and Billy say they decide to collect lint under the laundry because Billy has tiny hands. They leave. Nora says boys are gross. Then she says she has tiny hands too and decides to join them. Max and Phoebe are coming in and saying they won't say anything about the smoothie malfunction. They say twins stick together. Then Barb comes in asking if they have any idea why Principal Bradford got smoothies in the quad. Then Phoebe says every twin for themselves and leaves, causing Max to crash. But Barb asks Max, but Max says Barb will never catch him alive and tries to get away as the episode ends. So that was You Stole My Thunder, Man. So let's suit up for the pros. I came up with a new one. Instead of let's put on our super suits, let's suit up for the pros. So, number 1, it was a Max full episode. Number 2, Nora changed between a bow, a flower headband, and then back to a bow. Again, do not know why. And Flunky was a good one-time character, even though his whole hit on Phoebe joke kind of got stale over time. Like his whole, oh, he likes Phoebe. He likes Phoebe. So yeah, it was a good episode. I liked how they showed how devious Nora is. So yeah, that's it for this video, and I'll see you next time for the Thunderman Season 1, Episode 9, Weird Science Fair, where Max's backstory is finally revealed. Thunderman, away! See you next time. And for some reason, this episode reminded me of a Nicky, Ricky, Dickie, and Don quote, which I'll probably play at the end. Anyway, see you next time. See you next time. Rabbit, thanks, barking.
Working for me, the vice president.
Dickie, vice president is below president.